Hello, all. Welcome to this another episode of Business Unplugged with CA Balram HD. In this episode, we are going to talk more about new age communications, digital media, the evolution of it, the challenges that we have, the opportunities that we have ahead. To discuss more about this, I have a close friend of mine who happens to be my first client when I started my practice and who also hails from my own native place, Hyderabad. And I am happy and fortunate to have him with me or associated with him for last 10 years. When I started my practice, and we are still continuing our journey. So looking forward to discuss more about the industry and the experiences that he went through in the process of setting up the business, running it, and then looking forward to take it to the greater heights. Let's get into it. So thank you, Aasim, for accepting to be with us on
It's a
this
pleasure,
show.
Balram.
Yeah. So as I mentioned, we've been continuing in this journey for last 10 years, and I'm fortunate to have you there. You are the first one that you who believed in us and gave us the opportunity to work with you to provide our services to your company. I remember that your company was very small that time.
True.
You had about 2 to 3 employees in DSO, and now I'm happy and proud to see the growth that you have seen,
Yeah.
that you achieved. Now you are a size of about 80 employees,
That's correct.
which is a great achievement.
Thank you.
I'm looking forward for more and more heights to achieve.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I would like to understand a little bit more about to you and your background in terms of education and your career
Yeah.
before LPS.
Sure. So LPS essentially, as you rightly mentioned, is a new age communications firm. And essentially my journey starts with my childhood. And I grew up in Libya, which is in Benghazi. And I remember a time when I probably was not even exposed to brands and such. It's a country where essential supplies are rationed. So you would get a certain amount of vegetables, chicken, all over. And even if you go to shopping malls there, you don't have the international brands there. So I grew up in a space where it was very unlikely for me to come and work in the space of brands. So and sometimes I think about it and I'm surprised myself. But I do remember vividly that from my childhood, I was very fond of storytelling. And in a country where amazing living conditions, but at the same time there were certain very specific media that we would get to see, right? And we would always cherish looking at that one single episode of a certain very popular a really favorite show or a cartoon show that we'd like to see once a week. So we really cherished storytelling. Storytelling was very important to us. We would see reruns of episodes and stuff. So if I look at kind of track back things of where I'm all here, I think it's all because of the whole aspect that I'm still fascinated and passionate about storytelling as a medium, as a way to change, as a way to impact people's lives. And that's why the agency business, I think, subconsciously came in. I then went on to do my electronics engineering, and then I did my master's in marketing. Started a company in solar energy, wasn't successful in Hyderabad. That's where we both come from. And then got into marketing, full-time marketing on the marketing side. And there was a time when I realized that I think it would be more exciting for me to go on the other side and actually execute the things that I want to do as a marketer.
Yeah.
So I moved to the agency side, and that's how the journey started. And over a period of time, things have grown. And I kind of see the initial days where it's not me who would kind of provide the support. I think both of our journeys started in similar ways.
Yeah.
And I think the association with Spectrum has been very fond. And you guys have guided us through the way, especially on financial jurisprudence, which is something which is probably, if I have to say, the last thing a creative person thinks of. But I know how important it is as we've scaled up.
That is true. Yeah. Thank you for that. In fact, at the beginning itself, you complimented us. So thank you for that. So you mentioned that you have done your engineering as well as you have done marketing also,
Correct.
right? So you started your career with a corporate and you worked there for some years.
Yeah,
You also started another business which you could not
correct.
succeed in it.
Absolutely.
So do you think that all these that you have done, like before starting or getting into LPS,
Yeah,
do you think that they helped you to be successful in LPS?
absolutely. Absolutely. I think one is, if I look at it retrospectively, the experiences of seeing different places, cultures made a huge difference. And I think with my first encounter as a startup, it was in solar energy. And what that taught me was, I think there are so many times when we get so carried away by an idea, we over index on how it can go right,
Yeah.
that we stop thinking about how it can also go wrong. So that was my first lesson of, never fall in love with your ideas.
Yeah.
And I think finance is very similar, because finance actually comes from the other side and looks at it from a very pragmatic lens,
Yeah.
and tells you whether it's actually going to succeed. Because you can be the most visionary entrepreneur that you want to be, but unless it is backed up by actual results, numbers, it doesn't hold value.
That's
and I think
right.
that's really where the first company did teach me about how to sort of hopefully get it right in the next one.
Yeah, I think you rightly mentioned that. So at the end of the day, any business that you do, it has to make sense from financial side also.
True.
So unless it is giving you the expected results,
Correct.
it is difficult to run it in a longer run.
Absolutely.
Right? You may do it for a certain period of days or months, but it won't be possible to do it for a longer period unless
Correct.
it is giving you the money that you want.
Correct.
Yeah, so that's why. So what we do is that if someone is coming up with a new idea, we kind of perform a business plan,
Right.
work on the financials, like what is the revenue that you're getting, how much cost you're going to spend on it, and what is the profit that you can expect,
Yeah.
and how much amount of investment it requires at the beginning or initial stages.
Yeah.
In how many months or days you are able to recover the investment, which we call it as break-even point,
Correct.
and afterwards you are able to make profits.
True.
So that assessment and understanding of the financials and numbers is more important when you get into a particular business.
True. Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's I think is important to look at.
100%.
Yeah. So just coming to your company, LPS, LPS Society. So
Yeah.
the name is not so common.
Yeah.
So what is the story behind this?
Sure. I think we wanted to be known. So it came up with this whole idea that, apples are so celebrated, and the part of popular culture, part of companies. If you look at apples and the way we depict it, they're this perfect symmetrical object. So we wanted to be pears in the world of apples. So that was the whole idea, because we thought that pears actually, if not more, are functionally as strong as apples, but they're not the symmetrical ones. They don't fit in to look like everything else. And it's very important when you are working in the communications business to stand out. So you have to be effective, but you also need to stand out. And that's exactly what pears do in a world of apples. They stand out, but they're as effective when it comes to the nutrition, as effective. I think they probably taste better than apples. That's what I think. And I think that was the whole thought. And we started playfully, but over a period of time, it kind of stuck and it became more and more relevant to what we do.
Yeah.
Though we now call ourselves LPS because frankly, when you go on a sales call and try to explain LPS Society, you're losing 10 seconds of the call itself, and in a 15-second call, 10 seconds are gone in that. So we said, listen, we're just going to call ourselves LPS. We don't need to tell what we are.
Yeah.
We need to talk about what we do. And that's how it is. But the story started from pears in the world of apples.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
No, that is interesting.
Yeah.
Since you mentioned that, let us talk about what you do.
Yes.
What do you do? Let us talk about what you do.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
What all do you provide as part of your
Sure.
LPS business profile?
Yes. I think a large amount of agencies, when they start out, are very they over-index on what they offer as services, right? So we also started with that.
Yeah.
And the agency business is basically personality-driven, people-driven business, right?
Yeah.
So we started out as a social media company. We're offering social media services. Over a period of time, we realized that what we really want to do is to add value to our customers.
Yeah.
And when you're looking at adding value to your customers, a company becomes more and more more, it scales up more and more, becomes more and more financially relevant. When you also are basically offering more and more value to your customers, you're a bigger contributor to their entire mix of marketing.
Yeah.
Social media is a very small part of it, and perhaps some people may make the argument that it's also shrinking because social media is about organic content.
Yeah.
A lot of platforms now want you to spend ads on them, so they want your organic content money to go into media. So then we sort of over a period of time realized we want to do a lot more than just social media. So we started doing digital media, and then we even went beyond digital to look at full-scale production for clients, influencer marketing. We would do creative campaigns for them, on-ground events. All of this became part of our services. So the way we then said that we need to come back and say what we really are to our customers, and that really is the fact that we are everything communications for a client or a brand, but our edge is the fact that we understand how new age communications happen. When I say new age communications, I think in today's times, if you look at how people talk to each other, it's changed drastically.
Yeah.
It's people talk to each other on social messages. There are influencers, creators are a new piece to that.
Yeah.
Every platform has its own language. TikTok has short form videos, LinkedIn has different carousels, YouTube has long form videos. So everyone's language is different. That's what is new age, because everywhere the platform defines how the language of it is, and it's different than what used to happen earlier. So we understand new age, but essentially we are able to offer 360 communication solutions to brands. That's what we do. Yeah.
Great. So I think just to take you back to that initial stages of your journey.
Yeah.
So when you started, what kind of challenges you faced, and can you tell us how did you overcome those?
Yeah. I think the first thing is, as I was talking about this whole business of marketing agencies, it's an extremely competitive space, and I'll tell you why. One is, at the top of it, it's a highly concentrated industry. There are a few global holding companies which hold multiple agencies under them. So when you're competing with them, you're already limited, because they have agencies which do specialist social media, which probably do specialist digital performance marketing, which do e-commerce. So they have a lot of arsenal, which is tough to compete, right?
Yeah.
On the other hand, at the bottom, the barrier to entry is close to zero.
Correct.
3 people can pick up today and start an agency, right?
True.
And with great looking website and a great looking social media page, they'll probably start getting work as well. So it's a very competitive industry because it's very concentrated at the top, and the barrier to entry here is really low. So you have to constantly find ways of being relevant as you grow. And when you start out, I think the first challenge is, how do you create a name for yourself without being commoditized? Because invariably, if there's so many new companies starting out, you end up being commoditized. Your bargaining power with the client also reduces, because there are so many else who are ready to offer what you want to offer at a lower price. It's not a very structured industry when it comes to pricing in that sense.
Yeah.
So those are the initial challenges, and we had to do something different to stand out uniquely. And I think that was the first, as far as I can remember, the first challenge we faced.
So when you said that you had to stand out and to be able to beat that competitive industry.
Yeah.
So what did you do, and what all did you do?
Yeah.
If you can just tell us a few.
Sure. So I think I can talk about it from, first I'll probably talk about it from a business core point of view, and then I'll probably also talk about it from a point of what did we focus where did we invest in terms of resources. So I think the first thing was, we started out as a PR company in LPS.
Okay.
And very soon we realized that it's something that we would find very tough to compete with, because there are already global PR agencies. It's almost like it's cartelized, right? It's very tough to break that and go into bigger brands. And offering the same kind of services for smaller brands, mid brands, is not going to be as profitable. And the third thing, add to it, and I think that's the most important reason, is PR itself was changing, right? No one would, in my opinion, at that point of time, would want to look at purely a newspaper launch of a new outlet and say, hey, I'm going to come and eat there, because newspapers were itself getting irrelevant.
Right.
So I started thinking about what is it that we can do, which existing big agency corporations do not already have as a service,
Yeah.
and the brands are also looking for it. Right. That's when social media was the first thing, and this was back in 2014.
Yes.
In 2014, social media was just starting out, right?
Yeah.
And brands were very curious to see what they can do on it, and the bigger agencies were not very equipped to offer it to the clients because they were busy fighting their own bigger battles. And usually, it's very tough for incumbent companies in a certain industry to try to innovate every time. Usually, innovation happens with an outsider.
Correct.
Right? And that's why we kind of saw that opportunity. And we started with offering social media month on month retainers to clients. And I'll give you an example. I don't think a lot of brands had heard agencies come and say, we will do videos every month for you. They were used to doing 2 videos in a year in TVCs and stuff.
Yeah.
So we started with that. And as a result, we started investing in people who essentially did not come from traditional agencies. One, we didn't have the money to afford them.
Yeah.
But we also wanted people who were not completely bogged down by existing thought processes. So we wanted, for example, we wanted videographers who could do lean videos.
Yeah.
That didn't exist in traditional agencies. So we had to go out in the market to find people who had no experience, get them on, and then upskill them.
Yeah.
So one thing I realized is you first invest in people, you show something tangible as an existing capability for something which is not yet there in the industry, people will start spending money on it.
Yeah. No, I got it.
So that's how it started. And then I think we continued that in cycles. We started doing TikTok somewhere in 2020 when no one had started. We started gaming in 2023. So that kind of a thought process has stuck on with innovating on everything which doesn't exist.
Yeah.
And try to create a name.
So always trying to be innovative and adopt the new developments that are happening in the industry.
True.
And offer them to the clients.
Yeah.
And being relevant.
Absolutely. Even before knowing if there is a clear monetary model there.
Yeah.
And I think some things work, some things don't.
Correct. Yeah.
But not doing it is definitely not the answer to it.
True. Yeah. So always you have to explore
True.
the developments in that industry and
100%.
then adopt them.
100%.
Yeah, of course. So how did you manage with the people? So it is, as you mentioned,
Yeah.
it is very difficult to find the right talent.
True.
First thing.
Yeah.
And retaining them once you train them.
Yeah.
Because when you have a lot of demand in the market,
Yeah.
retaining them also is a challenge.
Agreed.
Especially in service sector.
100%.
So how did you manage to get the right talent and also to retain them for longer periods?
Sure. I think the first thing about finding the right talent, I can only speak from my empirical understanding. I think it's always worked for us where we've gone with talent who necessarily did not have the right experience, but had the right mindset for the role. And usually that would go beyond just what is the JD, but understanding and trying to pick people who could do more than one thing at a time.
Yeah.
And that's very important for an agency. And it really is that sort of a dark horse when it comes to profitability.
Yeah.
If you can get talent who can do more than one thing. And then we've always succeeded in picking people backing people who've not really been as experienced, but have been able to grow with us as we've gone and been able to upskill quickly in doing things. It also helps because when you're doing something new, you can always charge a certain higher premium to it.
Yeah.
And at the same time, if you get talent who's not yet been in the traditional agency ecosystem, you can also have some benefits on the bottom line because of that.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting sort of a space for us.
Yeah.
Second, in terms of I think I must admit retention has always been a challenge in this industry.
Yeah.
I would probably give an answer which is not probably political, but I think it's very more. We've kind of, for a large amount of time, we were trying to retain great talent, and we should 100% if that happens.
Yeah.
But also, I think we need to create an organization which is immune to attrition.
True.
And I think that is the most important. I think that's a far more important thing than trying to depend on high retention, because there are a lot of factors which we can't control. there's a large amount of moving population in Dubai.
Yeah.
There's large amount of different industries that attract them.
Yeah.
So what we've tried to do is to kind of create a brand and create an organization, processes which are immune to attrition, and that's the whole effort that
Yeah.
we see to be.
No, I think that is one of the interesting point for any company which is into the service sector.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, the attrition is definitely higher.
Correct.
We also go through that process generally. So you mentioned that you have to build that brand, create that brand,
Correct.
which is above the people,
True.
right?
True.
And you also mentioned that you have the processes in place,
Correct.
irrespective of the people coming, going.
True.
You have these processes; they can just go through this process and then implement and then go on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So can you throw some more light on that, making sure that the brand is there, irrespective of the people, in addition to processes? Anything else you have done?
I think one is, of course, which is more straightforward, right? Like internal processes, handovers, ensuring data protection. All of those have to, like, we've tried to sort of establish, and we continue to do that.
Yeah. Do you have some people at the top who are there with you for a longer
Yes.
period,
Yes.
so that people who are coming in and
Absolutely.
going?
Absolutely. So that's the second point. I think having a great leadership and then ensuring that you have a great one-to-one relation with the leadership is extremely important.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that we've maintained and we'd like to continue. I'd like to believe that's something that we'd like to continue to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the second point. The third point is, I think we're in an industry where goodwill is a currency. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
As you do more and more work, you will get more and more work, and you'll probably get paid more and more for it.
True.
So building a strong credentials is extremely important. So we today, that is one thing that we can't lose. Right?
Yeah,
Like even if we lose some great talent, unfortunately, we have credentials which we have probably shown or demonstrated our capabilities,
Yeah.
which continue to be with us.
Right.
And I think that's the goodwill. I'd like to believe that's like the IP
Correct.
which exists.
Yeah. True.
It's pretty similar to how a TV studio or a channel studio would think about, even if they lose certain actors, they have the IP for the show that they've created and they make money on reruns.
True.
So that's how agencies should also think of themselves. Think of themselves with build some credentials, which is going to help them get more work.
Yeah.
And we should trust our instincts because of our experience to hire the right next person,
Yeah.
or probably even better
Yeah.
with the next hire.
You have spoken about the people, talent, and the processes. Can you also talk something about the quality? How do you maintain the quality of your deliverables, given a situation where you don't have a reference, because you're always trying to be ahead of the market
Correct.
and adopt the developments and new technologies in
Yeah.
that industry. So you may or may not have the references to follow.
Correct.
So in those situations, how do you make sure that the quality is there and the output is top notch,
Yeah.
so that you are best in the industry?
Yeah.
How do you make sure that it is a high quality?
Yeah, I think it's still work in progress. I'd like to believe that. But we have a very strong governance process where we are involved with everyone, right from top to bottom, is involved with month on month reviews on the work which is going out. We talk to our clients and do satisfaction surveys with them. It's a two-way survey. We also have something called 270 feedback within our agency, where it's not just your reporting manager who would rate you, but also your peers in other departments whom you're working, and perhaps they're more qualified to rate a person. Like for example, a videographer in a company would be rated by your account manager. An account manager is going to be rated by your art director. So it just helps because these are the people who are on the front line delivering,
Yeah.
and they have a better idea of giving feedback to the people they are working with, and it's also much more unbiased. So internal feedback on people, client satisfaction surveys, doing a regular reviews, quarterly business reviews with them, internal reviews on a monthly basis. So this is a governance layer. We hold the quality standards.
Yeah.
I think the second aspect is more on like a 30,000 feet level, which is about how can you compete with agencies which are global, which are in different places, and how does that happen? I think over a period of time, as you gain more and more goodwill and currency, you end up hiring people who will be available for you for the next stage.
Yeah.
And sometimes what happens is that if you are going from 0 to 100, you require a certain team, and then you're upskilling with them to go from 100 to 1000. There are large amount of people who may continue to be in that journey, and there are a large amount of people who may not. And sometimes that's also good, because retention may not be the best strategy as you're growing.
Yeah.
So from 100 to 1000, you may probably want a different set of people who will come in and run this whole machine. So it's very important to also keep looking at talent who will take you to the next level. And some of this talent may not be internal.
True.
So I think that's another thing which helps us up our quality, up our game as we go up and ask for bigger mandates.
Yeah, that's what we generally hear. So when you're a startup, so you have the respective team to be able to provide the service and then run the business.
Correct.
But you're planning to scale it up.
Yeah.
So then you have to think whether you are okay with the existing talent. Do you need to invite or take someone from outside?
Exactly.
So that they can complement and
100%.
Then, meet the requirement of the scale up and all those things.
Absolutely.
So in addition to this, so when you started and then over a period, you also were struggling for any finance and funding. Was it a difficult task?
Yes, it was initially. I think because one is the business that we are in is a service-based business, and you would know this better than everyone else. It's tough to kind of evaluate our business because we don't have fixed assets.
True.
So I think funding requirements are something which are based on that. So that was, of course, a challenge. Second thing is the fact that I think we come from an industry where traditionally you have a large amount of, the thought is always to grow organically.
Yeah.
Very few firms who think to grow inorganically by taking debt on their books.
Yeah.
Right. So I think those are the two things which, where there was no precedent for banks to sort of look at it.
Correct.
In fact, we went with, we do have debt on our books, but we went with a fintech company because we just could not get that from a conventional banking institution.
Systems,
I think that's definitely a challenge. But hopefully, I think over a period of time, as you scale up, that should be something which, as the sort of the banking system matures in the place we are, I think that is something that will also be addressed.
True. Yeah. So in addition to banking, now we have private ventures and private equity and all those opportunities are there for
100%.
sure. Even government also is backing up in some of the technology sector. So that's interesting. And in addition to that, what I wanted to also ask was, you mentioned about people, you mentioned about finance and quality. But I want to ask, what all do you do to sell the product?
Yeah.
Correct. So you don't have precedents, as you mentioned. But you still have to convince the client, and they are not small. I know. So you are associated with lot of bigger and larger brands and groups.
Right.
So how do you sell? What all do you do as a homework before you pitch for any particular company or client?
Yeah.
And what do you do during the conversation and when you deliver or execute your pitch?
Yeah.
What all do you do if someone has to do? So if you are approaching a new company or a new group, what all do you do? I mean, just before and then during.
Yeah, I think there are 3 parts to it. Number one, what's your product? Like, what are you actually pitching for?
Yeah.
Second is, how are you going to service that product? Like, how are you going to actually deliver it?
Yeah.
And the third thing, what are you going to price that for? Right?
Yeah.
The first thing in our sort of an industry is intangible. It's essentially you're selling a creative vision, right? Which you will probably execute once you're on board. Right. So one thing that we were very keen initially is to actually show some tangibility to our creative execution. So our proposals or have creative executions which would be way more comprehensive than if you look at how bigger network agencies would have done. So a large amount of agencies would give them saying, here's what we would do if we get selected. Our proposals would be, here's what we would do, and here's an example of what we can do. So there's mock executions and stuff. So it's very, very elaborate. And I think that was something which stood out. Now a lot of agencies have started picking on it, but I think that was something which stood out initially. Second thing is, and I was just talking to a couple of people who are more on the more from transaction advisory for agencies, and they're basically trying to understand how are you getting your clients. So I mentioned saying that I have a business development small team who go out, are very intentful to go after certain industries and do things, and they were quite surprised because a large amount of agencies actually do not have business development.
Yeah.
They all are based on referrals, and because they're started by existing ex-agency people who are creative, or they've not seen their view is very stays in the agency. Well, I was someone who never worked in an agency and started one, so I brought in the whole idea of business development, intentful client opportunities, and acquiring them.
Yeah.
So that is another thing which helped us.
Yeah.
Because we went after, when we had something new to offer like TikTok, we actually had a telesales team call people, reach out to, and also big brands, not every brand,
Correct. Yeah.
specific industries, specific brands, and then trying to see which industries are growing in this country and then going after them.
Yeah.
So intentful business development, very proof of the pudding proposals. I think these are things which helped us get to bigger clients. And then the last two parts which I mentioned about pricing and how do you service them.
Correct. Yeah.
I think this was acquired knowledge, and I think it's something which differentiates us from some couple of guys or girls starting an agency today.
Yeah.
It's very tough for them to pitch to bigger clients because we exactly over time with trial and error have understood how do we service these clients.
Yeah.
So, for example, if we have to deliver, it's a very different ball game to do a calendar for, let's say, a small restaurant, and the challenge is similar. It's business, but doing the same managing a social media for a complete government account.
Yeah.
And we understand what are the requirements, because it could be, some of the requirements could be ad hoc, some of the requirements could be planned, some of them could be very strategic in nature, collaborating with other government entities. So we know what kind of talent is required for this.
Yeah.
And that's if I have to say, that's our secret sauce. A lot of people think agency's secret sauce is their creative vision. It's not. It's more how are we going to
Package it.
how are we going to service it? How are we going to deliver this? And what are the people that you're going to put to deliver it and make profit out of it?
Yeah.
And also the pricing then becomes a part of it, because we understand it's just this, right? When it comes to pricing, when you move towards bigger clients, it's not that you're doing anything much different from a day-to-day activity, but you just the amount of accountability attached to you is large, so you price higher.
Okay.
So your pricing increases, but your pricing increases because your responsibility of delivering increases. Delivering social media for a government account,
Yeah.
the accountability is a lot more higher
Correct.
than while you're delivering for, let's say, I would say a small startup. I'm not saying from a accountability from a client delivery point of view,
Yeah.
but the kind of forces which are playing in this equation.
Yeah. So then don't you face the issues from the competitors if you price high?
Yeah.
You may also have another agency quoting little lesser than your price. So how do you balance that? First thing is that how do you come up with the pricing? What all do you consider?
Sure.
Because that is one important element that you have to look at.
True.
You cannot be overpricing, and at the same time you cannot be underpricing.
100%.
You have to come up with that right pricing,
Absolutely.
whereby you are able to win the client, at the same time you are able to balance your margins.
Absolutely.
How do you what all do you consider
Correct.
in terms of pricing?
Sure. So we start with the team first, right? What's the team which is required to service an account?
Yeah.
Let's say it is a creative campaign or a social media account. You've got account managers, you've got delivery specialists, which could be designers, creative people, producers, whatever. And that's the first step. What's the kind of team which is required? Then the second step is, what would be the number of hours required from their side? Do you require some dedicated resources? Dedicated resources would make sense if the number of hours are probably more than 160 hours, 150 hours. So you require someone who's dedicated for this account. And once you have decided that, then the third thing is how many resources, number of hours, and what's the rate per hour, right? So rate per hour for me is probably where our goodwill of the agency is baked in.
Yeah.
The team structure remains the same. The number of hours have remained the same 5 years ago as well.
Right.
Nothing changes.
Yeah.
What changes is the rate per hour, right?
True.
So when you start out, your rate per hour is extremely low, competitive. But as you grow, your goodwill grows and your credentials grows. So you're able to charge a lot on per hour basis.
Yeah.
And that's where it grows.
Yeah.
And so yeah, these are the three factors that we look at. And coming to the first point that you mentioned about, aren't there agencies who would charge
Correct,
lesser?
yeah.
I think at the highest brand level, one thing that I've realized is that clients don't go for the cheapest option. Clients go for the option that they think is the most trusted to deliver what they want to deliver. So it's kind of if I have to say, it's a weighted average model, right?
Yeah.
They look at price, but they also look at what's the guarantee that this agency will deliver
Okay.
what we are expecting. And that guarantee comes from past work.
True.
We've actually done this earlier. Or it comes from the team which you're putting as part of your delivery, that you need these dedicated people, you need some people on site. So that understanding of how we're going to service becomes a lot, it becomes a big differentiator.
Yeah. I think interesting.
Yeah.
True. So you mentioned about the services that you provide. We understand that digital media are creating advertisement content and all those things.
Yeah.
But you also mentioned about the gaming part of it.
Yes.
So what do you do as part of that gaming? So how is it connected to your service?
Yeah. I think the first thing to understand is gaming's gone beyond just being a hobby. It's become a part of our culture, where I think especially the younger population, like I was reading this statistics somewhere that around 90% of audiences in Gen Z are playing games. But that's not the most staggering part. The staggering, 50% of those Gen Z creators and Gen Z gamers are actually also content creators.
Oh,
So in today's time, what's happening with gaming is that people are not just playing games, but they're creating content around games. They're live streaming with that content. Or they're actually creating games within platforms. Like there's a platform called Roblox,
okay.
where people can actually go and create their own games and other people play those games.
Okay.
Yeah. So there are a large amount of people who have actually created these user generated games by someone else on Roblox. And all of this leads to this point. The effects are very similar to how social media is. So gaming, in my opinion, is probably the social media of today and tomorrow.
Oh,
And that's interesting. As an agency, we would like to be a part of where people are actually talking and conversing and communicating and expressing with each other.
yeah.
So gaming has to be a space where agencies have to figure out how to embed brands, because brands go where people's conversations are.
Correct.
And that's where we're trying to create avenues where brands can interact with gamers and gaming platforms. So that's the reason why we sort of decided that we should put our efforts there.
Yeah.
And it's a long-term play. And I think with gaming, what we're really trying to do, at least at this level right now, is two. One is we're trying to be a part of these user-generated game platforms like Roblox, where we can create games for brands.
Yeah.
Think of a brand game on this platform like a website. When people are spending close to 2 plus or 3 hours in a day on that platform and they visit your brand, it's almost like internet. So
Correct.
people are going into a platform, spending their time, and they encounter your game, and it's like your website where you actually can see their services and you can interact with them with games. So it's very engaging. And the second part is the game streamers who are creating this content, which are pretty much like influencers,
Yeah.
but on gaming space. So we've created a technology where we can embed brands to be on these live streams of gamers. So these are the two things that we are sort of currently focusing upon. One is to create content for brands on gaming platforms, and the second thing is to actually engage with game streamers and embed brands in this.
Yeah.
And in this process, we have close to 1,100 game streamers in our network in the entire MENA region, which is one of the largest, if not the largest.
Yeah.
And I think that's the kind of value that we bring to brands, which is this large game streamer network along with technology.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So you mentioned about the content for the brands,
Yeah.
which is used for promoting their brands
Correct.
on the various platforms.
Correct.
That's one side which I understood correctly. But you also mentioned about the influencers.
Right.
So how do you engage them? Like,
Sure.
how does it help
Sure.
for your
so
service?
let's say a typical game streamer, right, would be on a platform called YouTube Live or Twitch. They do live streaming.
Yeah.
So while they are doing live streaming, we need to ensure that we what we do is we broadcast branding ads or campaigns on their live streams through an in-house technology we have. So this is very much like influencers,
Yeah.
but in the live streaming space, where the product campaigns and everything is coming on the streams of these game streamers.
Yeah.
So that's how we do that.
Is it because you have associated with that gamer?
Yes. So we basically go and sign that gamer for our platform,
Yeah.
and they essentially get a portal
Yeah.
where they can actually see which brands are working with them on their live streams and the revenue which is coming to them. So it's a revenue sharing model with game streamers from brands. So brands will come in, we take a percentage and they take a percentage.
Good.
So that's how we work.
Got it. Interesting. So this leads me to the next question. You mentioned the gaming and then impact of it. So what are the other developments that you foresee in future in this particular sector?
Yeah.
Let's say within the next 4 to 5 years from now,
Yeah.
how is it going to evolve? What are the new changes and developments that you foresee
Yeah.
in this industry?
You mean agencies or gaming?
Agencies
in general?
as a whole, yeah, because now
Yeah.
you see a lot of artificial intelligence
Correct.
and various agents in that area. So what do you think about the impact of this AI on your industry as a whole?
Sure.
What are the other new ways of communications that are going to evolve in this? What do you think about that?
That's actually quite a multi-dimensional sort of a
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
question. But I think the first thing is brands, as I mentioned, I think it's at its simplest form, brands go where community behavior is formed. Right?
Yeah.
Wherever there are people wherever attention is a currency, brands are there, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And agency's role is to enable that. Agency's role is to enable brands get attention, right? And relevance. Now, in that sort of a world, I think it's interesting to see how communities are getting formed. On one side, I think the big social, as we know, let's say Instagram, Facebook, is also getting slowly fragmented. Right?
Yeah.
Communities are getting formed. Smaller communities are getting formed. No more is so. For example, earlier what used to happen is communities used to get formed around influencers on these big platforms.
Yeah.
Right now, what's happening is with TikTok coming, their algorithm is all about exploring and identifying new creators. So there's a constant flow of newer creators who are coming in, newer trends which are coming in. So it's a very it's a world in flux, right? So as a result, in my opinion, communities are getting formed around shared interests.
Yeah.
And it's not just about just one hero, celebrity, influencer, right? So you will find more and more of these communities which may be which may probably be around, let's say there are a group of people who are interested in playing paddle. Right? Now this group of paddle players may be on WhatsApp, maybe on Instagram, maybe on someone else. So how do you ensure that you are able to be relevant as a brand in all these places? Let's say there's a community of people who are creating content using AI.
Correct.
They could be on they could have logged in on ChatGPT. They could have also they're sharing their content on Behance. So how do you start looking at all these different avenues? So I think the focus for agencies, at least digital agencies, will shift from platforms to communities.
Yeah.
And that is something that we will have to more and more try to find what is that future.
Yeah.
Second is, as you rightly said, AI is this big behemoth phenomena and probably once in our lifetime.
Yeah.
So there are a couple of things here. I think a large amount of people think that agencies will basically be replaced by AI. I think that is definitely not something that we'll see in the next 10, 20 years, number one. And I also believe that, actually, I'd probably say that brands would still need, or I think in general enterprises, brands would still need human creativity as part of the mix. While there could be parts which AI could eat into, but there's still going to be a place for humans to be a part of this mix. Now, in that, what is it that humans provide, which AI may not be able to provide? And I think that the answer to that lies in collaboration. Right?
Okay.
So I think one of the biggest values that agencies will add in the coming times would be, how do we take a technology which is beautiful like AI and then and take that and enable collaboration among their teams and the brand teams and provide solutions. So I'll give you a very generic example. Today, let's say this AI which exists, right? And today I search for I need to find a chocolate in Amazon forest, inspired by Amazon forest, right?
Yeah.
So you could query that and you'll get a result.
Yeah.
But one of the things which has not yet been factored in is my creative director querying and trying to find a solution and a designer trying to do it. These are two different people with two different skill sets.
Yeah.
So I should ideally be paid higher if my creative director is doing it rather than my designer doing it. This is not yet priced into agencies. Agencies need to start looking at how to get the human talent, skill sets, and collaboration as part of your pricing mix along with technology.
Yeah.
And I think that's the future of agencies for brands. And the pricing is also going to be a mix of that. So what I mentioned about services, hours, and all that is the people are going to be the same. The service outcome is going to be the same, but the hours are going to be probably spent on not only creating, but also querying.
Okay.
So the pricing is going to change. The way we are then communicating that is going to change about probably here's my querying time, here's my creating time. All of those things will come into the mix, in my opinion.
Interesting.
Yeah. So those are things which the agencies would sort of come into.
So what are the kind of challenges that you see in that evolving times with AI and other technologies? If you have to list down what are the top 3 challenges that you foresee,
Yeah.
as well as the opportunities that you are foreseeing in that.
Yeah. I think challenges number 1, getting existing talent to be okay with the changing service delivery processes. Because it's very tough to take existing talent and ensuring that they do such a big change.
Right.
So that's going to be a big challenge across. Second is the understanding levels of understanding the levels of understanding from the client side on what we are offering. So what I talked to you about, 2 different people but the same outcome.
Correct.
The thing is, and it could be drastically different, but since this whole space is getting formed, it'd be very tough for us to also explain this to clients and ensure that and communicate the value of one over the other.
Right.
So I think communication of the value that we provide and then at the same time reception of that value is going to be a big challenge.
Right.
Third thing is, and I think this is the most obvious one, I think the way this industry is changing on a daily level. So what today is relevant on technology, I think in 2 weeks we have a new model which comes up, or a new version of the model which comes up.
Yeah.
So the change of this industry, you have to probably create mechanisms within your company to be okay with that kind of a change. So these are the 3 big challenges. Opportunities, I think one immediate opportunity is you probably can continue doing the same thing and deliver the same thing, but at a lower cost. So that's an immediate challenge.
Right.
That's an immediate opportunity, right? So it helps on your below the line gets affected in a positive manner.
Right.
And the second thing is the fact that if you're able to understand how to productify it and create a product on this, then you also have a new segment which you can explore. I think more and more what you're seeing in our industry is AI content is almost becoming like a retainer agreement with clients where they want us to do X amount of AI content for this many months, though they don't know what it is all about, but that's getting more and more prevalent. I mean, I've heard conversations on that.
Yeah.
Third thing is if you're able to, as an agency, also get into the tech space and create some proprietary technology and sell that along with your services. I think that's an interesting opportunity as well. And I think these are the 3 levels. Number 1 is already happening.
Correct.
Cost optimization. Number 2, I think it's now we're talking about it. Number 3 is something which we should be working towards it. And that I think in a large amount of agencies will become, in fact, I would say 100% of the agencies will become tech enablers.
Yeah.
So that's going to happen.
Yeah. So now that we have spoken about the evolvement or evolution in the industry, just wanted to understand Dubai, definitely you have a lot of people and business people coming from outside.
Right.
and establishing their businesses and brands here. So you also have your presence in Riyadh and Cairo.
Right.
Also, you mentioned about UK.
Correct.
So different jurisdictions, how different they are from your sector point of view.
Correct.
How different they are, and then what kind of strategies do you follow
Sure.
in these respective areas?
Sure. I think Dubai, of course, is our headquarters. That's where we started. We've got our majority of our clients.
Yeah.
Then the next step naturally was for us was to find great talent at very competitive pricing rates. And that's something that we found in Cairo. Found some great talent. We have some team members who've been working with us for more than 6 years now remotely. And what has happened is we have more and more seen that our services can be delivered from Cairo. And what we really have there is teams for community management on social media, teams for even create some creative execution, teams for digital media, working hand in hand with our teams in Dubai and Riyadh.
Yeah.
And we also realized that what this another aspect which was less obvious to us when we started out was we can expand at a faster pace in Cairo because it's more easier for us to get people without adding to overheads in Cairo. So that was interesting.
They are less expensive there.
Yes, that's definitely the case, and it's just purchasing power parity there.
Yeah, correct.
Where it sort of is for them to sort of look at.
Is it
very
like that
competitive.
office is supporting you for works in Dubai? Or?
Correct. It is.
Oh,
It
okay.
is. And it helps us from our from a P&L point of view, and also because it's an Arabic first
Correct.
country, so that helps because you're also more and more working with clients who are looking for Arabic first solution naturally. So because that's the place that we live in, so that is how we started Cairo office. So it essentially is our sort of back-end and delivery excellence office. And then once we decided to look at Riyadh, because frankly, I mean, while it's something which is fairly public, but I think in the next 10 years, you have some very exciting things happening there. So you have a lot of brands who are looking for solutions which have international standards that are associated with them.
Yeah.
So we started our Riyadh office with that thought, and we've been successful in sort of working very closely with 3 amazing clients for the last 1 year.
Yeah.
And we continue to do so. So and Riyadh essentially is different from UAE because you've got close to, I think, 59% local population compared to 11% here. So you essentially need to deliver solutions which are ingrained in the culture of Saudi Arabia rather than. So you basically need to bring international delivery standards and match them to give solutions which are locally relevant.
Correct.
And I think that's why you need a team there who can provide that and do justice to the engagements there. So you have a local team which is essentially creative, production, account management based in Riyadh. And then I think the UK office is more a long-term play for us, where we feel that in order to become more relevant to brand managers and have conversations with them, which are not just about, hey, just do this video, do the social media there, but how can you as an agency be a partner to me on the brand? So you need to have on the other side also brand managers talking to brand managers. So the plan is in UK to build a team of brand strategists, brand consultants who are ex-brand leaders or brand managers who can talk to brand managers with head offices so that we can get broader mandates.
Yeah.
So that's the plan in UK. So that's how this whole structure is worked out at this point of time.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Great. So since you've been into this for last 12 to 13 years, so if someone is interested in starting a new entity in this particular field,
Right.
so what would you advise to them? Or in a way, if you were to start it now,
Yeah.
how differently would you do it? What are
Right.
the things that you will look into it and then take care of?
I think a large amount of time when agencies start out, they over-index on what we offer. Right? If I had to do it today, I'd probably over-index on the people that I have in the team. I would sell my people's CVs rather than my services. And I think that works because people are inundated with hey, I can offer social media, I can offer creative campaigns, I can offer production. But I think what club brands are looking for is, hey, can I work with a team that is capable and has a high level talent there, high level, sort of has experience on their side.
Yeah.
So I would build an agency on some interesting people CVs, and then let them grow their teams. So one thing that I started, and these are the two things which I did differently when I started, right? Like I was all about selling services rather than the people that we were working, because we frankly didn't have that level of expertise or experience.
Yeah.
And the second thing that we were looking for was, we were more into trying to get people who could do things rather than trying to find people who could lead teams and let them build things. So our hiring strategy was bottom up. So that took us a longer time in learning things and understanding things, and to reach a point where we said, oh, this is how this production works, this is how creative works.
Yeah.
Instead, I think what I would do at this point of time is go in with a plan, find some investment, initial investment, or if I can get my family and friends, get some money,
Yeah.
hire some seriously good talent, get them to become my poster champions,
Yeah.
probably even offer them some equity,
Correct.
and then build an agency with them recruiting their teams, them being at the front of my creds, because I frankly wouldn't have brands to show.
Yeah.
The only thing I can show is my team's expertise.
Yeah.
So I think I focus on building my team leader skills, and that is my selling point, and then try to hire top down rather than go bottom up. I think that would be on a larger level what I'd focus on. And of course, I mean, the most obvious ones is I'd not go with and not try to focus on everything. I'd probably focus on one little thing,
Specific.
which I'd look at what are those things which brands are looking for, which agencies are not offering, and it would take them 2 years to get there, and just go after that. And it may not be and it'd be surprising, but those are not the most talked about things. They're not AI. There's not AI.
Yeah.
It has to be things which are more, they're the less talked about things, but are the more wanted things. Like I'll probably give you an example. Like I think people are not, let's say, doing a lot with interesting WhatsApp content, right? People are not focusing on, let's say there are a lot of people focusing on influencers, but they're not focusing on creators who have a sizable following but are not big enough. So and are not focusing on that. So, or people are not focusing on going after becoming specialists on technology communications for technology companies.
Yeah.
Those are things that are interesting spaces in my.
Yeah. Can you elaborate a bit more about technology
Sure. So
communicators?
yeah, it's very interesting because if you look at now all these big holding companies, agencies, right?
Yeah.
The only one who's profitable is Publicis. Everyone else, you take WPP, you take Interpublic, you take a lot of other legacy agencies,
Yeah.
they've not turned profits. And one of the answer lies in, there are multiple reasons for that, but one of the reasons is if you look at the industry mix on Publicis, let's say financial report 2024, it's not the typical agency brands that you expect.
Yeah.
It's not FMCG at the top. It's technology, telecommunications, healthcare. These are their top spaces. Like these are the top clients. So
Okay.
more and more agencies should look at, it's not the agency lives of 1950s, 60s when agencies were big.
Correct.
They would go after the Pepsis of the world, Coke of the world, Heinz, because those were the brands of those times.
Yeah.
The brands of today's times are primarily technology, telecommunications, healthcare is becoming big. So if you can actually build services attuned, and there are not a lot of agencies in that space, because it's not the most glamorous brands that you build in that space, but those are the ones who need communications because they're complex products, complex solutions, complex services.
Yeah.
And those are the things that I think a lot of brands value, and agencies do not really have that expertise in-house.
Yeah. So you're talking about focusing on different industries and
Correct.
sectors
Correct.
than focusing on the regular ones who generally, you found as.
Exactly. Becoming experts on certain key industry verticals.
Yeah. So because it is not so common, do you think it will take more time and efforts to convince and communicate to those industry people to have enough amount of budget to be able to spend for this branding and
On the contrary, I think
promotions?
yeah, on the contrary, that could be one stream of thought. But on the contrary, I think a large amount of these brands are behemoths in like as industries,
Yes.
and at the same time, there's not a lot of agencies fighting to work with them. So they're not spoiled yet with choices of an agency. So you can actually command a price which is reasonable.
Yeah.
You'll not be shaved to your skin like with a lot of other brands where there are hundreds of agencies ready to do anything for you.
Yeah.
So that's interesting direction and space to take
Right.
from that perspective.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think great insights. So on little lighter side,
Sure.
I would like to ask you some questions
Sure.
as a rapid fire.
Done. Let's do it.
I just wanted to hear from you.
Yeah.
Before we get on to that, so I would like to hear something about Spectrum and Spectrum team since
Yes.
you worked for so long.
Yes.
How did it help you, and then what all we have done to your company as a partner from
Absolutely.
finance side?
Yeah.
Would like to hear something about it.
100%. I think Spectrum has played a key role in our growth as an agency. As I mentioned, I think agency has a very right-brained mindset. So it was, I think, credit to Spectrum to have sort of shown us the way towards financial well-being
Yeah.
for the agency. So, and I think what stood out from day one is it's been very easy and effortless and seamless to work with the team. I think your association, Balram, has been great. You've been a great guide in terms of building the financial roadmap for the company, and I also see Spectrum. I think we share values in terms of it also being extremely service oriented.
Yeah.
Because a large amount of time, what happens is with knowledge oriented companies, the service orientation takes a backseat, and I think that's with Spectrum. I think that's a big standout because you're a great. I think as a company, it's a great mix of being service oriented and knowledge oriented, and I think that shows because now the company is also growing as rapidly. I think you should talk about your growth.
Yeah.
It is pretty much or probably even more than us. So I think it's definitely something that I'm proud that I've been a part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, great. I think thank you for that
Yeah.
compliments. I still remember that initially when we met for the first time and then we were talking about the pain points that you had and then what is the expectation
Correct.
and then coming up with solutions to address those
Yeah.
issues. And in the middle also, in addition to the regular compliances like accounting and VAT and then
Correct.
audit reports filing
That's
and all
right.
those things.
That's
We were
right.
also talking about expansion and then feasibility study around that expansions and
true.
then how to take them forward
True.
and projections for next 5 years and all those things.
Correct.
I remember those things.
Yes. Yes.
So as I mentioned in the initial discussion, unless you're financially sound and your business gives you that returns, it becomes really challenging to run the business for long
True.
period.
True.
Thank you for that, in fact, and thank you for the opportunity once again.
Yeah, it's a pleasure.
Yeah, so let's get into a quick, a small rapid fire. I would like to ask you those. What do you prefer, Instagram or LinkedIn or something else?
Personally,
Yeah.
LinkedIn.
All right. One campaign you wish you had created.
I think all Nike just do it videos. All videos which Nike does, especially the one which it did in, I think, just before the London Olympics, where Adidas was a sponsor, and they were not allowed to take athletes from who are like performing athletes in Olympics.
Yeah.
They actually went with models who were just regular people, and then outshone Adidas in that campaign. And I think that was something that I think I'd love to have been a part of that.
Great. Favorite creative tool or software?
I would be. I think it would be a cliche if I say anything. I'd actually say it's any AI tool at this point in time. I think a lot of people. I know a lot of agencies who've said artificial intelligence tools are banned, but I think I'm one of those people who probably thinks that is the most impactful creative tools in today's times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, nowadays, I think if you see past 6 months to 1 year, we have seen a lot of tools coming up, a a lot of AI agents that are coming up,
That's right.
which are really helpful.
100%.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, I think they're great companions for thinking.
Yeah,
I think you just can sort of talk to them to sort
correct.
of
Yeah,
get your ideas and move to the next level. They may not be the finishing tools, but they are
correct.
great starting tools.
Yes, right. So, one word that describes digital marketing in 2025 and 26.
Chaotic is what I would say.
Okay. So, one brand that you admire more.
I think, I would probably. I actually think I'll probably give an example, a local example that's better. I think the Giving Movement. The Giving Movement is a great brand.
Yeah.
I think they've built something which is where the brands played a huge role in shaping how people think about them. Yeah.
Nice. A book or a podcast that shaped your thinking.
A book or a podcast that shaped my thinking. A book would be 0 to 1 Peter Thiel. I think that's an interesting book for me. I would also podcasts. I end up seeing clips.
Okay.
I don't I don't have the patience to go through the whole thing. But I would probably I think multiple
Okay.
different people across. I actually follow both business and also very technical podcasts because now I do see myself getting deeper and deeper. I think there's a venture capital firm called A to Z. So they have a podcast where they talk about AI, crypto, and I
Yeah,
think that's one thing that I am really, really hooked on to.
Nice.
Yeah.
Since you're into that field, first social media platform that you used.
Orkut.
Orkut, okay.
Yes,
I still remember that.
yes,
Yeah.
a long time ago.
True.
But yeah, Orkut would have been the first platform.
Yeah. Then later Facebook.
Yeah,
and
it
all
seems
this.
like a lifetime away, but it's just like 15 years ago,
Yeah.
15, 16 years ago.
Correct.
Yeah, but it's not that far in
Yeah.
terms of life. Yeah.
Nice. What is your superpower as an entrepreneur?
Speed. I think. So I probably would say this. I think I probably value speed over perfection. And sometimes it's because perfection is something which is a function of factors which you can control and you can't control.
Yeah.
Speed is something that you can control.
Yeah.
And I think it's always great to move quickly, as they popularly know, right? Like you can move quickly, but you also move quickly, fail quickly. So you keep moving. You come into a point where you know what's going to be the winning
Correct.
solution.
But I also admire your strategy, strategical thinking.
Yeah.
And I look at even the way you look at the things, details and all those.
Yeah.
Great.
Thank you.
Yeah. I think you mentioned this one word or sentence about spectrum.
Yes, I think service oriented.
Yeah.
Service oriented for
Great.
sure.
Great. Thank you. I think we came to the end of the podcast or discussion.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I think a lot of details that you shared with us. I'm sure that these will be helpful for people who want to get into it or already into it in this particular service. And thank you very much once again.
Thanks, Balaram. It's been a pleasure. And I think love to keep having these conversations. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you. I think this was an interesting discussion that we had. Aasim was grateful in sharing the details with respect to the evolution of the new age communications and the opportunities that we have ahead and the challenges that he went through and the opportunities that we have further. So all those definitely were helpful and I hope those are helpful for you also. Thank you once again and looking forward to meet you again in the next episode.